recording in progress. Here we go. And so anyway, I just felt like what would be a really good thing to share is just kind of where I'm at in my life and my business. And so if you see behind me, this is what will be my office for my editing suite. I built a shop right next to the house. It's about 2,800 square foot, and we started on it last summer. And the office side of it is going to be where I put like my computer to edit. And so like what Emma was saying, like I do commercials and music videos and documentaries, and I shoot and I edit and direct. And that's the passion of my life in terms of creativity, like what I get to do. I love it. So this room will house that passion of mine. And so whenever we moved to Tennessee in 2019, I remember walking around the property and walking over and being like, man, I'm also a woodworker. I want to have a wood shop, right? And I want to have it a spot where I can put my edit suite and I can do all these things. And I remember walking around with Shay and we just talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And it started to develop a passion and an idea in my head and a vision. And so I remember walking with my friend Chris, and we were walking on the side of the house and we stopped, and there used to be like a ball goal here, like where this office is now. There was a ball goal. And so I'm standing next to the ball goal and I looked at Chris and I said, man, I just want to be sitting here at my desk and I want to look to my left and I want to look out the window at the willow tree and watch the kids play. Like that's my dream. That's what I see for this space is I want to do this particular thing. And so I remember telling Chris that, and then it went from just an idea to, oh, wow, what if we did this? And what if we did that? And so it started to kind of roll into this. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, like an infectious idea where you are just taken over by it. And Shay will tell you, I do this with anything. I'm like, hey, let's buy a new TV. And then I'm looking and reading like everything on every TV ever invented until I figure out the one that we're going to get, or like anything that we buy. And so that happened with the shop. And so I just started to make plans and I started to dream, and I dreamed big. And then I dialed it back to realistic. And then I was like, why am I making it realistic when I can dream it? And so I just went full ham, and I just was like, okay, I want to build a 2,800 square foot wood shop. And within that, I want to have a 300 square foot shop that overlooks the willow tree. And I remember writing it down, and I did graphs, and like made floor plans and all that stuff. And then I had to run over and figure out that I had the vision and I had the plan now, right? I had to figure out like, what do I need to do to get there? Right. And so I knew it was going to take money. And then beyond money, I knew it was going to take time. And then beyond time, I knew I was going to need the right team members. And so in terms of team members, me and my father-in-law have done construction. Well, since I met him, he taught me everything I know about a hammer. And so he was the guy that I went to first because I knew that he would help me. And then I have a buddy, Kyle, and a couple other guys that are just kind of grunt workers, right? Just hard breathers, the guys that you bring in and they're going to like lift 2x and help you, build the shop and stuff. And so I knew that those were the guys that I wanted to have with me to help me do it. And then I just figured out really like, where do I need to go to get wood? Where do I need to go to get the metal building and all the different steps, right? And I knew that because I started to make a detailed plan. And then came the execution of it. On the execution side of things, I thought I could have it done in 4 months. And so now I'm sitting here about 15 months later. And it's something that we took a break. We had a kid in the middle of it. And it's something that I didn't anticipate all the things of life that it would bring me. But we've been able to follow our course and kind of stay with our plan and shift focus, to where it needs to be to get it where we're now under roof, and we are, all the roof is done, the outside's done, the inside is pretty much done. And then now I'm sitting in an office that 2 years ago, almost to the day, 2 years ago, I stood where I'm sitting having this meeting with you all. I stood here with Chris and I looked to my left and I said, I want to see that willow tree while I'm working. And so now 2 years later, it's not completely done. Obviously the drywall just got done, but I'm sitting here and I'm working and I'm looking to my left and there's a willow tree where my kids can play and swing. And so the realization that like, yeah, I'm not done yet, but I've hit a goal that I set 2 years ago. Like that feeling. And then that to look up and kind of be like, oh, like I've had my head down working so much. And then you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing that like I've accomplished this goal. And so I guess like when Emmett was talking to me about coming and sharing with you guys on Work With Me Wednesday, I kind of approach my business differently, than everybody else. Like I'm probably not as much of a go-getter as like Jen and definitely not as much as Shay and even Emmett, maybe. I don't know. Emmett's kind of 50-50. See, his mic's muted right now, so I can say whatever I want. It's great. But
I'm the host. I can unmute.
I love it. But the thing is I work my business the way that I like want to work my business. And that's what I love about it. Right. And so it's the same thing as the shop is I was the one that got to make the plan. I was the one that got to execute it. And I got to choose the people that were with me and how I did it. Now, on the other side of that, the negatives, I was the one that had to make the plan. I was the one that had to figure out where to get stuff. I was the one that had to figure out my team. And then I was the one that had to execute it. And so there's this like really beautiful side of things where like all the hard work and stress and the money and the effort that I put in the last 2 years or year and a half, whatever it is, are now paying off because I'm getting to sit and enjoy the reward. And so I know I'm not done. I'm not going to always sit in a camping chair, which is what I'm in right now. Like the next time that we talk, hopefully I'm in a finished office. But it's really cool to see when you lay out goals and then you accomplish those goals. And sometimes it doesn't always, happen exactly how you thought it would, but when you accomplish it, I can tell you that Shay, her journey is one that like we tried really hard and got stuck at different levels of the business. And to see her have the audacity to just think that she can get to the top and do it. And then to see it happen, man, I'm telling you right now, it didn't happen as fast as we thought it would, but it happened. And we were really, really stoked when it did. So anyway, I do have 5 points for you guys. All right. So this is the point where if you're going to write something down, Shay told me people would show up pen and paper. Do people have pen and paper? Is that a thing? Tina W's got it. Shayna's got it. Dorothy's got it. Man, Mimi Berry. We went to high school together. Not really. She's looking at me like I'm crazy. It's fine.
That was several years ago. I don't know if you would remember or not.
All right. So here's our 5 points. Okay. So if you're going to write down, if you're a note taker, these are the 5 points. So what is your vision? Have you walked the land? Have you stopped? Have you seen a specific thing in your life that you want to write down, that you want to happen? All right. So what is your vision? So kind of like take a moment. You can write that down if you want to while we're talking. A lot of people talk and talk and talk and talk, but there's something that happens when you start to write that down, write down that vision of what you want to happen. This is kind of a silly one. And if anybody ever breaks into my house, I guess I'm screwed in it. But my password for one of my computers is I want 285. So that's my weight loss goal. And so every day, every time I come back from using the bathroom, every time my screensaver needs to be unlocked, I type in, I want 285. And so that's a practical way that I keep that vision inside of my head and in front of my face is I always type it out. I want 285. Okay. So what is your vision? Number 2, have you made a plan? So this is a really funny thing that to me is always, it just cracks me up. Like we'll have people reach out and they'll be like, hey, I don't feel like my paycheck for the business was right, or I don't feel as though my points are correct. And I'll say, well, what are your points? And they'll say, I don't know. And so to me, it's one of those things where if you don't know what your points are, you can't make a plan to know where you want to be, right? So you'll start to get distracted when you don't have a plan because you don't even know where you're at. So what is your plan? For me, it was like, how much will it cost me? Not just in money, but time and other resources. So what is your plan and how much will it cost you? Maybe your business won't have a lot of monetary expenses, but it's going to take your time. It's going to take your effort. It's going to maybe take you putting the kids to bed and then having to go back and work your business a little bit, or waking up a little bit earlier before everybody to work your business, or, where your IPAs to run and all those different things. So what have you made a plan, and what is it? Number 3, do you have the right people helping? Do you have a bill? Do you have somebody that's going to be able to help you get and execute the plan that you have, the vision you have? You'll probably have multiple bills, but Bill is my father-in-law, by the way. And I would have gone crazy if I would have had multiple bills. But if I was working a different business, I would want multiple bills, people that are experienced to execute the vision that you have for your business. So you need to go find those people, and you need to get them in the right spots. So do you have the right people helping? Right now, I know that you're probably thinking of at least 1 or 2 people that you're not, you're probably a little scared to ask to join your team. But those are the people you need to ask to join your team. Shay always says, like, that's her first thing. Like, she talks to people about is like, who needs to be on your team? Who are you afraid to ask to be on your team? Because that's probably the person that needs to be there. And so again, number 3 is, do you have the right people helping? And if you don't, you should go get those people. Point number 4, when do you want to celebrate accomplishing your goal? So when do you want to have a big party of you celebrating your goal that you set out? So for me, I've set Thanksgiving. Just happens to coincide with Thanksgiving, so we can have a giant feast after I get this office done. That's my plan. That's when I want to accomplish moving into this office and it being done and completed, and me doing my first edits out of that post Thanksgiving. So what is the date that you want to celebrate accomplishing your goal? And you shouldn't be bashful about celebrating your goals. Even if it's just you at home with a glass of wine and some chocolate. Like, whatever it is, that's what you need to do. You need to celebrate the fact that you put effort into something and then you accomplished it. I think that's something that we sometimes overlook when we just get to the peak of the mountain, and then we look out and we see all the other mountains that we have to accomplish and we have to climb. So then we just jump off and go to the next mountain, when it's like, maybe just slow down, pour yourself a cup of coffee, look around, say, thank you, God. This is amazing. I can't believe that I'm here. And then sleep the night, get some rest, and then go to the next mountain. Okay. Number 5, what can you do today, October 13th, to take a step towards your goal? Okay. So maybe for you, you need to sit down and you need to write down those people that you're going to have jump in with you, or you need to write down the date that you want to celebrate. These are all steps towards getting your vision. Maybe you need to cast your vision to yourself. In a year, I want to have, 10 level 1s, and I want to have a total of 100 people on my team, and all these things. And that's your vision. And you need to make a plan to get there. And so you can start today with those things and get really far. I think you'll be surprised at how far you can get in one day, and just making an actionable plan. Okay. So whatever that is, I would go with the thing that scares you the most, which would be point number 3, which is the people to get on your team. But just whatever that is, take a step today towards where you can be tomorrow. Okay. And then when you wake up tomorrow, what can you do today to get you further tomorrow? And just keep doing that. And you're going to start to see it just turn into this giant roll of momentum that'll take you and your business, and your personal life, and your family life, and it'll roll it straight up to the top of the hill that we were talking about. So, Emmett, that's what I've got for you.
I have something, you brought something. I want to say something super educational. This doesn't happen very often. So you guys better write this down on your paper. But there are 3 types of learners. You mentioned writing it down. And so we've got to develop that muscle memory when we do these things, when we do these power hours. And so you have auditory, visual, and kinetic learners. And so auditory will be people that can hear something and learn it. Then visual will be those people that have to see it physically to learn it. So these are these people that write their notes, that take and copy chapters out of books. And then there are kinetic people who learn. And then those kinetic people are doers, the ones that can actually learn by doing. And so when we take these power hours back to our teams, we need to understand that you may have 40 people on there, but 10 of them may be auditory learners. 20 of them may be visual learners, and then the other 10 may be kinetic learners. And so one of the things that's important is that we adapt to those different learning styles. And just because somebody doesn't get it by a power hour via Zoom they may actually require that one-on-one session for them to learn some of these things.
Yeah.
And Adam, the super good content, super great content. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here. We're not going to end it quite yet, so nobody leave. I want to open it up. Like I said, Adam and Shay are developing some training material right now. And I want Adam to just take a few minutes to tell everybody about that. I think it's
for sure.
super beneficial because these guys, if you haven't watched Shay's Facebook, she's really good at branding herself. If you notice, all of her posts have the same certain style. They have a simple, not generic, but molded color scheme to them. And so I think personal branding, if you guys know that social media posting is huge to me, I think it's the number one way that we can grow our businesses is by posting on social media. And I made up a little song the other day. Is where were you when social media stopped working?
He sent it to me.
I sent it to gold. I don't know what everybody did for 7-8 hours, but I was this close to creating a Twitter, and I wanted Tom back so bad. If you don't know who Tom is, he was my very first friend on MySpace. And so I was freaking out. And, but we don't think about these things. And I'm going to get on a soapbox for just a minute, but like, how did we work our businesses when the social media went out? Because every time I went to do anything regarding Pinklife, I would go to my Facebook Messenger, or I would go to look up somebody's contact information, and it would be in my Facebook Messenger. And so I was like, gosh, I really need to get these people's actual numbers. And so I went to, I'm constantly messaging people by Facebook Messenger. And so it's really important for us to go to plan B, because if plan B happens, we need to be able to perform. And, essentially our businesses aren't going to go away. We just need to, there are other avenues to reach people. So anyway, what was I talking? Oh yeah. Adam and Shay are developing some training for you that happens to do with social media, happens to do with personal branding, happens to do. So I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to let Adam talk to you about that. It's going to be super beneficial.
Well, it is not my thunder. It is Shay Jones's thunder, but we are developing a class and a personal coaching program. Basically, it's like what Emmett was saying. It's based around your personal brand. It's how do you want to appear for your business? How do you want to be perceived, and not necessarily perceived by others, not that we can control that, but like, what's your brand? What do you want to be known for? When people go to your pages, it's pleasant to be there. If you go to this is a really great example. If you go to my Instagram and then you go to Shay's, you'll see that mine is just this dad that loves his kids and woodworking, right? That's kind of the theme. There's not really a color scheme necessarily. It's just the theme of like, it's my life. It's just an overflow of what I think is funny or what I think is beautiful. And then if you go to Shay's, it is this well-maintained, manicured, pedicured, Brazilian waxed Instagram profile that is just Emmett's face.
bro, you went too far. Too far.
Hey man, I get Brazilian
Shay,
waxes anyway.
So I can see your face right now.
So it's this very well laid out Instagram. And so everything is in the same tones. It has the same appeal, and it has these beautiful captions that are well written, and it's great copy. And then you look at her profile picture and it's pristine and it's perfect. And so it's all this stuff. And then you go to her stories and it's like, she kind of peels back the perfection of her Instagram and lets you see like the real life stuff. And so it's this really beautiful contrast that she's struck. And so we've noticed that that's made a big difference in her business. And so the way that she comes across professional, she comes across knowledgeable, she comes across as somebody who's enjoying life and living life to its fullest. And so that's something that we've tailored, because it is the truth. It's just sometimes our Instagrams and our Facebooks don't show that. And so that's a really important part of what we do. And so Shay is developing a course, and it'll be about an hour long. And it'll be something that's for sale, but it'll be an hour long that you can take and you can jump in with it. And she'll give you pointers from everything on how to, give a cohesive brand message to how to take a selfie and it not look like terrible. She's got really great expertise in that stuff. And then there'll be a personal coaching that's beyond that you can join. And the personal coaching will be her specifically helping you, jumping in with you, trenching with you to make your impact, your brand, your personal brand as impactful as possible. And so that's something that's coming down the pipe that'll probably be launched. I think December 1st, we had to push it off because the office isn't done yet. This is where we're filming everything. So, but yeah, December 1st is our launch date on that.
Yeah. So y'all keep up with Shay. Somebody posted it's the_Messi_upgrade. All right. And so, yeah. Jennifer, Adam, dude, you're awesome. If you want to hang out with us to finish this, we can. I kind of want to direct everybody. Jennifer had a great idea, and I was leaning that way. I tell people all the time, Jennifer and I are like twins. We think exactly the same a lot, which is kind of scary because I'm not redheaded and super successful, and she is. But anyway, so I want everybody, if anybody wants to share it in the chat below, I want you to work on your vision. I want you to get this down like Adam suggested. Everybody write your vision down and then come up with a date, a plan to where you see yourself achieving this. Because Janine and I were talking about this last night. Dude, I am a terrible planner. And she's like, what's your future plans? And I'm like, to be successful and wake up tomorrow. And she's like, no, I'm talking about in the future. And so if anybody would like to share theirs in the chat, feel free to. You want to hear my visions and my plan. Okay. So here's my vision.
Hey, Emmett, hey. Real quick. Make you the speaker.
Make me the speaker?
Yeah. So that's what everybody's looking at, not me.
Add spotlight. Hey, can you see me?
Oh, there you are.
Hey, I didn't know you could do that. I need a Zoom 101 lesson, I guess. All right. So as you're writing down your personal visions, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. Is that okay? Me and Adam can tag team this morning. So when Janine and I got together, I was in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for 16 years. I started when I was 18 years old. Didn't go to my senior year of high school, graduated early, worked third shift as a sheriff's deputy, and then woke up at 1:30 every day to go practice basketball so I could still play on the high school team. And so anyway, all I had known is public service. I'm also a paramedic. And so I've been working in law enforcement paramedic ever since I was 18. I knew nothing different. So when Gina and I got together, she was like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, how are you a stay-at-home mom? I said, where do you work? And she's like, no, don't you get this. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have been for the past 6 years. I was like, wow. I said, what do you do? She's like, oh, well, I'm with a health and wellness company. And she left it at that, which is really strange to me because I'm like, why is she not just like outpouring more information about this? And so I kept prying. And finally she's like, okay, this is what I do. I'm with a company called Plexus. I share health and wellness and we take supplements. Would you like to try them? I was like, okay, what you got? And she's like, I have a whey protein shake I think you'd really love. And I'm like, because every whey protein shake I had ever tried was absolutely terrible. It tasted like charcoal. I hated it. And it was horrible. I mean, like, even when she said the word whey protein, I was like I almost threw up right then. And she's like, no, I promise you really like this. And I was like, no, thank you. I'll stick with my Cokes and my sweet teas and we'll do that. So anyway, as we got more serious in our relationship, I said, she didn't really push it on me, which I thought was like, for somebody, that's in a multi-level marketing company, I figured she would push me to join, especially like everybody knows, like, hey, the first thing you do is enroll your husbands because that's one, or you enroll your wives because that's one underneath you, right? And then you can double dip by enrolling more under them. And so it was like, that's what you do. And she didn't try to do this with me, which I thought was really strange.
She didn't do that with me either.
And I think that's what separates leaders from followers, to be honest with you. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I saw her mixing up one of these whey protein shakes and I was like, I can't handle this anymore. I have no idea how you're making six figures off whey protein, but I've always been an entrepreneur. I had my own business at the time as well as working a full-time job. I was like, I want a little taste of this, like not the whey protein. I want the success. I want the money, like I want to be able to stay at home too. And so I tried the whey protein shake, which was just milk and lean. And I was like, the first words out of my mouth was, there's no way this is healthy. And she laughed her butt off. And I was like, dude, I love this. And so I started drinking those. She's like, you should really try Metaburn. And I was like, what is this? She's like, it's just, and explained it. And I was like, I'll try it. So then I started drinking. She said, you need to try my pink drink if you like those two. And I was like, no. I am not going to be a man carrying around and selling a pink drink. And she was like, just try it. And I tried it and I was like, this is pretty good, dude. And then I noticed that my cravings for sweets were eliminated. And then I noticed my overall hunger was reduced. And so I I believed in the products. And that's what she did, was she made me a believer in the products at first. And then I said, I want some of the business. And she said, I'm glad you asked. Let's enroll you. And so I enrolled. And so I think that's one of the things that separates good recruiters from poor recruiters, is because she was not pushy. She developed my faith and my belief in the product first, and then got me to buy into the products. And after I bought into the products, I wanted nothing more than to share my love for the products with everyone else. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. And so, with that being said, fast forward, I'm doing my thing. I made like $2,100 in 2 months off of commissions because I have that personality where like I can make others believers, and some say I can sell ice to Eskimos, and that's just how I am. But it helps that the products can sell themselves. I mean, this is not a difficult product to sell. Everybody loves health and wellness. So anyway, Janina and I went through a rough patch. We broke up. And this is what really turned me pro plexus. We were separated. I was not a single dad, but I had my kids every other weekend. And so just imagine getting 2 kids ready for church on Sunday morning with a spouse. I was freaking out. Like I didn't really know how to be like that dad. I always had, somebody to help me, somebody along the way. And so it was rough. My truck broke down. All I had was my county vehicle to drive to work. Couldn't go anywhere.
You were a country song, my friend.
Yes. And so I needed groceries. Like the cupboards were, I was one of those guys, like I didn't cook. I didn't do anything. I went to, McDonald's or somewhere, got breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week. But I was like, I need some groceries because I can't really afford to go out and eat every day now because I've got to fix my truck. I've got to pay a rent on a studio apartment that I really couldn't afford. And so I went to the grocery store. I called my lieutenant and said, hey, can I take the county car to the grocery store? Like, I'm hungry. And he's like, yeah, dude, just go to the grocery store. So at the grocery store, I got to the checkout counter. It was $184. I remember this because, y'all, this is life-changing moments that you remember. It was $184. I swiped my card, and you get that, the pull. I call it the swipe and pray. And, of course, it was declined. And I said, what am I going to do? So I went back out to my county car and pulled on the handle, and it was locked. I'd left the keys in the car. So on top of my truck being broke down, not having any groceries, my county car was locked. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? And so I stood there for a moment, and I was like, I have this little red card in my back pocket that I really never touch. Let me swipe and see if it will work. I went back inside. I swiped it. And y'all, guess how much money was on that card? $184. You tell me God don't provide? God and Plexus provided that day, because I'm going to tell you right now, it was just residual income from my business that I hadn't even been working my business since Gina and I separated. And so this really, Jennifer Leaf says my Plexus card, my Plexus wallet card. I guess that's what I'm saying. Am I saying that right? And so anyway, I go back out and I'm like, all right, so now I'm going to have to pay a tow driver to unlock my county car, because I am not calling my supervisor on shift and telling him I locked my car up in the grocery store parking lot, which I'm not supposed to have it in the first place.
Yeah.
And so I called the tow truck driver and come and unlock my car. And I was like, bro, I said, can you wait a couple of weeks until I get paid, or a week until I get paid? Because I don't have any money for you. And he was like, no, man, I got you. This one's on the house. And so I'm like,
that's awesome.
This is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And so from that point forward, I was like, Janina and I got to get back together that same day, which was like, it was just all the puzzle pieces fall together. And so I say all that to say this is that you may be struggling with your business right now. And that's certainly understandable, because we go through peaks and valleys in this business. It's a lot of times it's like super, super good. And then we'll have some months that are not so good. And we have to come to terms with ourselves to understand that we may have months that are not good. And quite frankly,
not going according to plan.
They're crap. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But you never know when one day may change your life. You may have that one person come to you and enroll and sign up, and they turn into an absolute rock star. So my plan and vision is, let me fast forward. I talked to Janina and I was like, I want to create this community for everyone to come together that works this business, just have fun, work on their social media branding, work on their selfies, and I've been a t-shirt designer for years. And so why do we not just provide some cool t-shirts that nobody else can provide? And so I started Pinklife. And so some people think that, I just want everybody to know right now that my primary business is not selling you a t-shirt. My primary business is not selling you boutique apparel. My primary business is encouraging you and motivating you and letting you know that you are special and your business is something. Okay. That is my primary goal. And I'm telling you that with chills, because I earnestly mean that. Okay. If you buy a t-shirt, cool. If you buy some boutique apparel, cool. I really appreciate that. Humbly, from my heart, I really appreciate that. But my goal is for that person who may not have the personality that likes posting selfies to post a selfie in that t-shirt on my wall. And I want them to know how special and how good they look and how good that selfie is. And I'm also going to help them improve that selfie. Because I don't know if you realize it or not, but your social medias are brands. And Adam, I'm not trying to sell any of you here and say this may be a good segue to how to improve your personal brands. But whether you realize it or not, everything that you post on social media is under a microscope. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I'll see some of my downlines that will enroll somebody, and 3 days in, they'll be like, this product sucks. And then the next day they'll be like, hey, buy my pink drink. And then the next day they'll be like, I'm not losing any weight. And I'm like, what are you doing? Has any of you guys ever encountered that with some of your downlines? Like, what are you guys doing? And so you got to understand that or they'll post something derogatory that doesn't have anything to do with the business.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
Jen said it's not authentic. Dude, there's so much BS in this world, and people can always tell when the BS is being thrown. They know every single time. There's something beautiful about authenticity. When you nail that into your brand, man, it's awesome. It's refreshing to people.
I'm working on authenticity is everything part 2. I just haven't got that done yet, but that was one of my key factors is authenticity is everything. You have to be the authentic version of you. You don't want to be the authentic version of what somebody else wants you to be. Mm-hmm. You want to be the authentic version of who you are truly. And how do we get to be that authentic self? That takes a little searching. It takes a little, it should be easy to be you, but it's really not, because we put a lot of external pressure on ourselves, right?
Yeah. And being you never stops. It never, if you're doing it right, it never stops evolving. Like you're always becoming a better version over and over and over and over.
That's 100% right. So did anybody want to share their vision?
You had a question here. I think it's a pretty good question.
What's the question?
This is from Lori Felton. What are some good questions to ask yourself to cast your own vision?
You want to take that one?
Sure. So I think for me, I always ask myself, and I'm an Enneagram 2, so I don't know if anybody follows that stuff. You guys ever heard of Enneagram?
It tells me I'm a 2, but I don't know what a 2 really is.
Well, then you should take a test. There are only about 1 million of them out there. But for me, I have to ask myself, like, what do I want, or where do I want to be? And those are hard questions for me to answer, which if you're like really goal oriented, or like Shay can just like sit down. Yeah. All the 2s are chiming in, all the support. I feel the love. Thank you. You wouldn't understand it. You haven't taken the test, but your face. I think for me, it's like, I have to really sit down and simmer and think about it. And it takes me a few days to figure out, where do I want to be? And then what do I want that to look like? And so the shop for me is one of the first times that I had a physical like goal. So like something that I was going to build on this scale with my hands. And so that was the first time I'd done that. And I just landed at that because I knew for me to get to my next business as a filmmaker, I needed to have a dedicated space that's not our guest bedroom inside the house. A place where I can really create and like hone in. And then the other side of that is, if I want to build furniture at scale, not like IKEA, but like, do it and not have the garage completely destroyed, I need a place to do that. And so that's what it met a need that I had, my vision did. And so those were kind of criteria for me. And so maybe that's a good, starting point for you is, what's a need that you have? What's a problem that's in your life that you need to fix? And maybe your vision is just to fix that problem. Like for me, I had those 2 issues. And so I fixed that by building a shop. So I don't know if that helps or not.
Jen, I think, had something she wanted to share.
I do. I want to share about vision, and I'm not turning on my camera. It looked like I was released from an institution this morning. It's bad.
I saw the pic on Janina's phone.
Oh, so bad.
So
bad. So actually, this is also beautiful because we just finished reading through a book about just the different qualities of being a leader. And one of them has to do with casting vision and having personal vision. And here's the thing that's so beautiful about vision. This isn't something that's a skill that you have to learn. Vision comes from your history. It comes from your life experience. And all that you've seen and felt and heard creates desires inside of you, natural desires. And if you can tap into those natural desires, you'll be able to create a vision. So my mom had me when she was just barely 15 years old. And you can imagine what that creates for a person. They feel like they're less than, they have to prove themselves. And so she went to nursing school, and I just remember always wanting to be an achiever. And she's the chief nursing officer of her hospital. And it's kind of like her Julia Roberts moment, the whole, you work on commission, right? So I watched her as a powerful woman in my life, that she wanted to prove that she was so much more than people thought she was. And so as I started to work my Plexus business, I realized that my vision was to help women realize that there's so much more than they think they are. Mm-hmm. And so that has always been what gets me up in the morning and gets my feet on the ground. I love our products and I like making money, but what I really have the vision for is that in particular. So whatever your story is, you might need to sit down and really think about that, guys. What is my story? And once I understand my story, how does that affect my desire to face rejection and to face worry and fear and embarrassment, and to really have to push hard to learn new skills? And once you know that, it really does make you unstoppable. The end.
I love you, Jen. So I want to add something that just came to me, is that I want you to understand one thing about vision is that just because you start out with one vision doesn't mean that it cannot be adaptive or it can't change. You may have one goal in mind, but you have to understand that as you grow as a person, your vision it's okay to change your vision to meet your goals. Now, this doesn't mean to reduce your vision or to get in this headspace of, well, that's impossible to achieve, so I need to get to something more achievable. No, it is talking about your journey. And so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I really love this. Is like practice small wins. Okay. Now, what I mean is, like, if somebody wants to run 10 miles a day or they want to participate in a marathon, they have to start somewhere. And so celebrate the small wins. And that can be just as simple as somebody who has never ran in their life going and buying a pair of running shoes. Okay. Look, you made your mind up that you're going to start running, and you committed to getting those running shoes. And so celebrate that small win. The next day, they put their running shoes by the door. And so they committed to at least that much. And so before you know it, they're out walking outside the next day. And then they're jogging a half a mile. And so in order to get to your vision or to get to your end goal, you have to start somewhere. And I love the quotes, you have to start by starting. And somebody asked me the other day, says, how do I do this? Or how do I get to be a graphic editor like you are? And I was like, well, the first thing to do is start. You can't be afraid to try it. You can't be afraid to start. And I think Adam's light up neon sign says, do it scared. And so I think big visions and big goals are scary, but we just have to do it scared, and we have to start by starting. Does anybody else want to share their vision really quick? You guys, this has been an incredible Work With Me Wednesday. I love talking to you guys. Does anybody have any questions? Unmute yourself or type it in the chat.
Let me add to what you said real quick there, Emmett. I think too, like, is we get in a comparison trap too of looking at like Jen, is it okay if I use you as an example? I'll take your silence as a yes. Jen has such a great social media presence, and you look at what she's done and you can tell that she's, number one, she is a beautiful soul that has fun and that she's done great in her business. Right. And so a lot of times we can see people like that are so accomplished, and Jen peels back the layers as well. And she does a really great job, but just using her as an example is, if I just see her accomplishments on social media and I start to think like, man, I can't do that. I'm not a diamond. I don't have a team of that big or whatever. And I start to see all of her highlights. I have to remind myself that is her highlights and not her full story. And if you talk to Jen, she will be the first person to tell you that her story is very, very deep, and it took a lot of time to get where she's at, and she's put in a lot of effort. And so that's something to remember, is that we're sometimes just seeing the highlight reels. from people, and so don't always fall into this trap of like forgetting that they took little steps. They set their shoes by the door. They woke up the next day and then they took a run, those types of things.
Yeah. I want to, on top of that, talking about highlight reels in social media. I don't know if you've heard my crazy cat lady spiel, but on the same token, don't become the crazy cat lady. And I'm going to explain this. If you flood social media with 4 to 5 pink drink posts a day, you have officially caught the crazy cat lady syndrome. And y'all know who I'm talking about. This same person that posts pictures of their cats 6 times a day, and you just get to the point to where you unfollow and unfriend them because you're tired of seeing their dang cats. When you get to social media, like if you post, I don't know, there's no specific algorithm to how many times to post about your product a day. That would be a question for Shay, maybe, or Jen, maybe they can answer that. But I will tell you right now, if I look at your feed and all I see is my pink drink makes me feel so giddy and fart rainbows, I'm probably going to unfollow you because that's not.
Mary's losing her mind. Mary Storms is cracking up right now. Sorry,
I'll tell you right now, Adam and I need to start a podcast because we shoot it straight and we don't sugarcoat anything. But you get what I'm saying? Like, don't develop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jennifer Leaf, your emojis are killing me. If you guys take away anything from today, you don't want to have crazy cat lady syndrome. And what I mean is like, you have to be authentic. Okay. No, pink drink is not going to make your life just this incredible wanderlust of just amazing, spectacular events. I'll tell you who can make your life that way. Do you want me to start preaching? Because I will. Anyway, but you have to show joy. You have to show that there are things outside of Pinklife because people get so tired of, let's just face it, there's 100 million multi-level marketings out there. People are going to try to sell you some other kind of crap product. They're going to try to put you on. You guys remember when everybody sold ththose CDs that everybody ordered and never paid for? What was that? Like, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe I'm a lot older than some of y'all. You know what I'm talking about, Adam?
I'll say yes so that you're not by yourself. But
you ordered like the Tracy Adams and the Garth Brooks. You got them in and you were supposed to pay for them and you never did. So you kept a bunch of CDs and then you kept getting this bill every week in the mail. Like, those are annoying. Okay. You want to be authentic and you want to show people that there is joy in what you do. And it doesn't seem like a job. So anyway, does anybody have, like, guys, we're not on a time limit here. Now is the time to pick Adam, Jen, what little knowledge base I have. And if you don't know, we do these Work With Me Wednesdays every Wednesday. We try to have a jewel or somebody that is super successful, like Adam. You're a jewel in my heart, Adam. Every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, just to come and talk to us about. And so some weeks we actually have people that walk you through timed working events. And then sometimes we just have somebody that can change your mindset, because I believe that all of us really need a mindset change right now. And because the last few months have sucked for most of us. And let's just be honest. They've been pretty bad. They've been pretty bad. Enrollments have been down, but this is across the board. And so it's important to understand that we're going to have bad months. It's just inevitable. But
here you go. You got one.
Now is
got a question.
Peak time. What's the question?
Let's see here. Vicky said, so many people posting with competing products. My challenge is, what makes me stand out in the noise?
Your authenticity is what makes you stand out in the noise. Okay. And your ability to just be you. And so, okay, I use this example a lot and I love it. Stop inviting people to join your company. This is going to blow your mind. Everybody listen. Stop inviting people to enroll and join your company. Write that down, because this is good. This is good meat and potatoes. Are you ready for part 2? Start inviting them to join your life. Does that make sense to anyone? Because health and wellness is a lifestyle. And so I use this example a lot. We invite people to church, right? We invite people to church. And we invite them, and we invite them, and we invite them, and we invite them. And they finally come. And what happens after they come? We forget about them, and then they wander off and do their own thing. Did we really do them any good? by them coming to church that one time? Maybe they got the Holy Ghost that day. I don't know. But the majority of them forget about it. Okay. And so when we invite people to join our company or our businesses, essentially we want that enrollment, we want that bonus, we want that commission, and then we forget about them. We need to start being shepherds. Okay. The Bible talks about if a shepherd has a flock of 100 people and one of them wanders far away, that shepherd is going to leave his 99 to find that one. And so invite these people into your life first. Let them see the joy that you have. Show them that you care about them. And they're not just another statistic. And I promise you, you will see your enrollments increase. Did that sink into anybody? Stop focusing on quantity and start focusing on quality. Write that one down.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
Because I promise, but still sell a bunch, Jen says.
Oh, here you go. You got two questions.
You get what I'm saying. I'm gonna get off that soapbox, and I may do a video on that in the future. All right, let's see. Got a few questions here. One, do you lead with products first or business?
Neither. We always lead with testimony. We always lead with results. At least Shay and I do.
But before and Adam talked about that, but before and afters will draw more attention than look at my pink drink. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or look at how much money, I personally, when I see like, and if you do this, it's okay. You have to show some level of success to, I guess, affirm your success with the business. But I will tell you that if somebody posts, look at this nice Lexus that I bought, that kind of is a turn away for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
There is a group out there for that. There is a group.
Yeah.
Like that. There's a populace that likes that. But I think the majority of the success that we've seen has been just sharing either what the business has done in our life. So like the $184 moment that you shared, like that's impactful, or sharing what the, what the products have done. So, I don't have to run to the bathroom every 30 minutes to poop my brains out. It's been great. Like those types of things that people laugh, but that's real deal.
Yeah. And so, my first month taking the products, I dropped 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I'll lead with, if I'm enrolling somebody, you have to feel them out. And that's why inviting them to join your life is super important, because you have to kind of feel out their personality before you can actually try to sell them. And when it comes to anything you try to sell them, you have to figure out what they want. And so Janine asked this question that I love. Before she'll even mention anything, she'll be like, hey, what's your health goal? Because if somebody doesn't have health goals, then this is probably not for them unless they're in it for the business.
Hey, the second part of that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I like inviting people into your life, getting to know them before you try to sell them something will help you seal the deal more times than none. Yeah. And once you talk to somebody, authentically talk to somebody and have a real conversation, you'll understand this person needs money or this person needs health benefits. And so once you figure out whether they need the money or they need the health benefits or they need both, then you throw that specific targeted lead or whatever you come up with, whether it's your health, your health, personal health benefits or your personal financial success. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jen, can you hop on real quick?
I'm here.
Okay. I think you're going to have the best answer for this. What do you say when people ask what you do?
Well, that actually is a hard question for me because sometimes it goes back to what Emmett's saying. I have to know the person to know how to answer it. I have to, because if I say I help people with their health and wellness and someone that doesn't care about that is not going to be intrigued to ask more. So I try to feel people out, but I can't help.
So let's run down the road. So if it's somebody that you can tell is health oriented, you say, I help people with their health and wellness.
That's a good question because I don't know how many times point blank I've been asked what I do. Mm-hmm. And so if someone says, what do you do? The first thing I'm probably going to ask them is, well, let me ask you a question first. Tell me some of the goals that you have in your life. Like, tell me a goal that you have in your life. And if they say, well, I want to travel, then I would say something like, well, it turns out I help people do that. Or if they say,
got you.
Yeah, like I like to ask questions. I'm a digger, but I can't, people are saying, how do I post? What do I post? How do I do this? Show me what that looks like. Mm-hmm. It's like if I told you guys right now, I want you to, I'm going to tell you a made up workout name. I'm making this up, like the spinach crusher. Okay. I want you guys all right now to do spinach crusher. And I'm just going to tell you really quick how to do it. Like you're going to get on a wall and then you do this and you do that in 2 seconds. So I'm like making up this workout move. You guys are all confused. You want me to show you how to do it. I'm not even turning on my camera. You're like, I don't get this.
Yeah. Sure.
What if I had a video and you guys watched it every single day and you learned to do it? And once you felt confident, you started teaching other people how to do it. You're all asking how to post. You need to go and find people that make you want to watch them and study the snot out of them. Go watch Julie Roberts every day. And the more that you learn how she invites you into her life, the more you'll start learning how to emulate that way of posting. So follow people, save the post you like, make them your own until you get your bearings about you. And then you're the spinach crusher.
The spinach crusher. I love that. I need a shirt with that. Spinach crusher, Jen Leaf.
I may do those. Valeria, I think it's your name. I saw your question about a magic formula or how to post for 3 days. My answer is a non-answer. It's going to vary to your target audience. I'm from Tennessee, y'all audience. It's from your target audience. People will engage in your posts if they get something out of it themselves. Does that make sense? So like, you may be thinking this is the greatest post ever to yourself, and it makes you feel more warm and fuzzy. But people won't engage on it because they're not getting anything out of engaging on it. Another thing is to ask yourself, am I engaging on their content? Because algorithms right now are jacked. Let me just tell you, Instagram is whack. Evidently, hashtags are out the window. I don't know what's up with those because they're not really working. And so algorithms are constantly evolving. The best thing I can do, and I got this from Janina, is like constantly engaging on other people's posts. Now, let me say this. When you engage on someone else's post, make sure that it has some meat and taters to it. Like, don't just be like clappy hands, smiley face emoji, like just to be showing up. Like, really give them some feedback. If somebody posts a wonderful picture of them and their kids, be like, oh, your kids are so cute. How are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's just the same. It's like when you go to cold message somebody. When you cold message somebody, you don't lead with, hey, you want to try my pink drink? You know, you want to lead with like, hey, how's your mom and them? How you doing? Like, can I help you? Yeah. I listened to a sermon, and this is also one of my favorite TV shows is New Amsterdam. How many of y'all have seen the show New Amsterdam? Dr. Max Goodwin. What does he lead with? How can I help? We need to develop a how can I help mentality, because I just read this yesterday in Luke chapter 15. It talks about Lazarus sitting at the gate of this rich person's dwelling. And the rich person refuses to help them for as long as they're alive. They both pass on. The rich person goes to the place of the dead, and Lazarus goes to sit at the right side of Abraham. And so the moral of that story is he says, can you send Lazarus down here to dip his finger in some water just so that I can quench my thirst just a little bit? And Abraham's like, why didn't you help him when he needed help on earth? And so we need to develop this how can we help mentality when we're approaching engaging other people, enrolling people, our business or our lives in general, instead of like, how is this going to benefit me? How can I help them? Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
We have any more questions? I go around in circles a lot. Katie Cordray says, will you give an example of what that looks like? I don't really know what you're referring to.
Are you talking about what it looks like? Bye, Jen. Is she talking about what it looks like to be authentic with somebody?
I have no idea.
Inviting them into your life. I'll jump on it until you get up. So Katie, I think for that's something that I've naturally always done. And then I don't really point a whole lot towards selling. Like, it's just once somebody gets into your life, they're going to see, because it's like what Emma was saying. Like, you don't want to be what'd you call her? The old cat lady?
Yeah, the crazy cat lady.
Crazy cat lady. Posting every single moment of every day about places. But we do put it into our stuff. Like if you look at Shay's stuff, there are some posts that are evidently product focused, very specific to a niche of like people who want to know more about this stuff. And then you'll see other stuff. Like we have a video that is, we did what was it called? The 27 photos trend. Do you remember that, Emmett? Like the, like it's a song or whatever. And if you look in that video, we've got video of us holding our pink drinks, right? So it's just subtle. It's in there, but it's not like in your face. And so I think that's, as people get invited into your life, you're engaging them, you're being in relationship with them, then you get to see, they get to see what you're doing, and they get to see how your business affects your life. Right. And so then that's what Shay and I do, is we let people see that, and then they ask questions. Eventually they will ask questions about like, what's the pink drink, or we'll just have a conversation with them, and we'll bring it up. Like if they say they're sick, or they say they're trying to get fitness goals, like the New Year's coming, everybody's going to be talking about, I'm about to overeat at Thanksgiving. I'll continue through Christmas, and I'm going to lose weight in January. Those are great moments for you to bring up products that exist that can help them through those moments, and maybe be like, I don't know, hey, January's coming. Did you know we have a thing called Triplex? Or you could try MetaBurn, or the whey protein that won't make you throw up, like all those different things. But I hope that helps, Katie. I don't know if it does or not.
Well, guys, it is 11:04. We don't have to go anywhere, but I will tell you that we're starting to drop people.
Yep.
So I just wanted to share with you really quick. I just posted a link in the chat section that will get you 10% off Pinklife swag through midnight. So feel free to use that. And that's 10% off your entire order. Yesterday was a new drop day, and I'm not here to promote Pinklife, but I just want to throw that out there as a thank you, because humbly, I tell you, if you would have asked me last November, Emmett, do you think that you would be leading motivation, mindset, and coaching chats with 88 females? I would have said, you're absolutely freaking crazy. But thanks to you guys for showing up and just being yourselves and caring about your business. I just want to say thank you. And thank you for making Pinklife possible. Thank you for making Work With Me Wednesday possible. Adam, dude, you're awesome.
Thanks, man.
I love seeing your business grow. I love seeing your success, and I love being your friend. And I want to thank you for doing this as well. We're going to have you on again. So go ahead and be preparing something for that. And if nobody else has any other thing they want to ask, we will end this meeting. I just wanted to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a blast.
Everybody good?
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely. Who's speaking?
I'm Rita.
Rita. Hey, Rita.
Hi there. And I'm from Louisiana, and we've been dealing with the aftermath of Ida, and I've been reaching out to a lot of people. And how can I help, and what can I do for you is a piece that was just put on. And that's really what I've been doing lately, is when we go into the field to help others, my husband and I, we bring a lot of Hydrate and Slam and Active and mix it on the spot and share it with people. And it's not for the point of selling, but it's for the point of filling a need. And that's been really good for us. It's connected people face to face. And the praying with people and praying for people has really connected us to our community. So I just wanted to ask for prayers for my neighbors that are rebuilding, and that oftentimes just being the beacon of hope can mean a lot to people. I have art friends who are painting little things and giving them out to give people hope. So finding your gift and filling a need. A little reflection book that I read every day. Today's piece was active. I'm active with the life of God, and just showing other people how this helps us to be active. And it's become a brand for my husband and I of being of service to others. So I just wanted to mention that and ask for prayers.
You're muted, Emmett.
Take two.
Sorry. Technology is hard, man.
That's an excellent way to end this, Rita. So let's just go to God and thank him for how awesome he is. And let's pray for your community. Where'd you say you live again?
I'm in Louisiana, the New Orleans area.
Okay. That place has been wrecked over the years.
There's little bayou towns there's uninhabitable, many of them.
So let's go to God. God, we come to you today and we just thank you for how truly awesome you are. I don't think that sometimes we take for granted some of the things that we're gifted with. And we just want to thank you right now for our businesses. We want to thank you for our community. We want to thank you for the opportunity to have success that you've given each of us. And I would just ask that you would just rock everybody's business this month. I ask that you would just put your hand on it and let your will be done with everything. Give them the courage to speak out. Give them the strength to help. Give them the ability to just be their authentic, true self. Lord God, we also ask you reach your hand down on the New Orleans, the lower Louisiana area. Lord, they've had so many troubles this past several years. And we ask that you would just touch those people, meet their needs. Just put your hand of comfort on them, comfort any anxiety that they may have. And just, Lord God, we love you and we thank you for that. And we thank you for the health that we have. Thank you for everyone attended today, Lord God. And we just ask that you, again, I know this is not really the way that many people pray, God, but we just ask that you would just turn their businesses over. Just excel them to new heights and increase their confidence. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Guys, I love y'all. I'm going to end this. You guys rock.